If a car is advertised as a monthly payment, you're not getting a good deal, you're getting trapped. Because as soon as you focus on monthly installments over the cash cost, that's how you end up signing a 6-year contract with a 35% balloon payment where you end up owing more on the car than what it's worth. In last week's video, I broke down exactly how those R2,500 a month deals work. And I didn't expect what's about to happen next. That video got over 100,000 views and 500 comments in the first 5 days. It was overwhelmingly positive and most of you agreed with me, but some viewers said I talked utter nonsense. So some rightly said most South Africans don't have a choice to sign these deals, and others said a high car payment is just a fact of life that you can't get out of. So in this video I want to clear up a few things properly. Not to argue, but to help buyers out there not to get trapped in a debt cycle that they can't get out of. So please, as before, comment below, disagree with me, and do yourself a favor. If you want to buy a car, go read the comments on my previous video and maybe this one, because there's really a lot of value in there and we can learn from each other. And honestly, thank you so much. I didn't realize so many South Africans has a need for financial advice like this. So first, let's quickly chat about balloon payments. So this is where they hide a chunk of the cost at the end of the term. So when you think you've paid off the car, you still owe 30 to 40% of the cash price. And a lot of people get trapped in this, and they do this in order to get the payment lower. And if you go read the comments from the previous video, you'll see a lot of people know someone or they themselves reach the end of the term and then only realize that they still owe that bit. And this should be illegal, and the salesman should really explain this very properly up front. So how do you know when you sign a contract that there is a balloon payment involved? Obviously you need to read the fine print, but a great rule of thumb is to take the cash cost and divide it by 40. This used to be the way they calculated at the back of the car magazine, and someone mentioned it in the comments as well in last week's video. So if you take the cash cost, you divide it by 40, that is the amount that a normal car payment should be. If the one that you're signing is way below this, there's more than likely a big balloon payment at the end. Another thing to look out for is the interest rate. If it's far above prime plus 2%, walk away or negotiate. You don't want to be signing a high interest rate because you're going to end up paying a lot more for the car. And lastly, remember, the balloon payment doesn't make the car affordable, it makes it accessible. A smaller payment ends up costing more in the long term. And really the only reason why South Africans still buy so many new cars every month is because of this balloon payment. Car dealers make more on the finance deals than they do on the car itself. So don't fool yourself, a low payment costs you more. Now, a very valid criticism on my previous video is some of you said that a lot of South Africans don't have a choice. And I get that. I don't pretend to understand, but a lot of people have to drive dangerous roads. They rely on the car for their work. They have to drive at night and they drive through dodgy areas or in peak traffic in Gauteng. And yes, in that case, I don't expect you to drive an old clunker for 30,000 that you have to work on every day yourself. And in that case, a R2,500 deal on a Toyota Vitz or a Suzuki Espresso is actually not that bad a thing. And if you can only afford a small payment with a big balloon payment at the end, by all means do that. If that makes the car accessible, I think that's a great thing. But just know what you're getting yourself into and that you're going to have to refinance that balloon payment at the end. What I don't want you to do is to buy a BMW or Polo if you earn less than 15,000 Rand a month, because it looks affordable because of that balloon payment. Flashy, fast, new cars with leather seats is not a necessity. It's a luxury and it will cripple you in the long run. So yes, if you don't work on cars yourself, you don't want to know how they work, you just want something reliable and safe, get a Vitz, get a Celerio, get an Espresso, but don't get a BMW or Mercedes. Another concern was crash safety. And yes, if you roll this old Suzuki that I drive every day, you're probably not going to survive it. But you don't need a new BMW or Audi or a Ford Ranger to keep you safe. But most modern cars have airbags, ABS, traction control. You don't need the fanciest BMW or Mercedes to keep you safe. The biggest safety feature in a car is the driver. Driving defensively will keep you out of trouble 99% of the time. Yes, there are cases where someone else messes up and their fancy new car could save your life, but the probability of that is much smaller. The big crashes that I usually see on the news and on Facebook and in the area on the WhatsApp groups are fancy new cars that overtake on blind rises, or people text while driving and they drive way too fast in a Ford Ranger or a fancy new BMW. So staying out of trouble is 99% of what keeps you safe, not the safety features in the car. The other problem is, in a fancy new car, people tend to think physics don't apply to them. They hold down Magubaskloof Pass in their brand new Fortuner and they think the ABS is going to keep them safe on a wet road. That's not how it works. So you might disagree with me, but I feel it's safer driving in something like this where you know you are vulnerable, instead of relying on the safety features of the car and you just don't pay attention. So let me know in the comments what you think, but I truly believe the driver is the biggest safety feature. Now I have to do a quick shout out to Musi Sambo. If you are young or old and you want to finance a car and you're not sure how it works, please, you have to go check out Musi Sambo's channel. He is the absolute boss when it comes to these types of things, and he's got so much valuable information on his channel.
The cheapest brand new car in SA is the Toyota Vitz, and it starts from 178,800. If you don't want the Vitz, you have to settle for the Suzuki Express and you will pay 178,900. The last brand new car you can get for less than 200,000 rands is the Renault Kwid, and it starts from 197,000 rands. In the used market, I got 3 running German cars for less than 140,000 rands combined.
He also has a professional qualification, but he is very clever with the way he thinks about cars and debt. So go check out his channel, and in the comments go tell him I'm still waiting for him to come and make a video with me in the Suzuki. And also tell him no, I'm not going to sell it to him at 30,000. So someone commented, a 19-year-old saving 3,000 Rand a month, that's delusional in South Africa. And I 100% agree. The example was not about the numbers. What I meant was, if you are able to afford a new car, you are able to save. So get a second-hand car, save up and buy yourself some freedom. And then to the finance gurus who commented on my 60 million Rand, a 65. Yes, I did ignore inflation and it's an important thing, but the principle remains. As long as you earn on your investments more than inflation, you'll end up with more than what you would otherwise. And the thing is, yes, you might feel like you're going to work forever, but you are going to get to a point where you won't be able to work anymore, or you might lose your job, or your health deteriorates. And having a safety net then will really change your life and give you options and freedom. So please start saving as early as possible. And the point of that example was that if you start early, when you're young, when you start earning a salary, yes, you can stop at some point and then start enjoying your money. But the earlier you start, the more you'll end up with. And someone actually reminded me of Einstein's quote about compound interest being the 8th wonder of the world. Those who understand it earn it, those who don't pay it. And that is really true. So go learn more on that and you'll thank me in 20 years from now. There were also a lot of questions on what car to buy for under 100,000 Rand when you buy cash and save the rest. So next week we'll do exactly that. I'll show you how I look for a car, what is important to look for in terms of reliability, value and safety. And no, it doesn't have to be a 37-year-old Suzuki like this. So stay tuned for that. And also please comment below, share this video with someone that you feel needs this, and I really love to hear from you. If you disagree with me, please roast me in the comments. That's how we learn, and that also helps other people not only rely on my advice, my opinion. Everyone has a different situation, and the more we share information, the more we won't get misled by salesmen that try to squeeze every last penny out of you. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate the support, and I'll see you next week.